Welcome back for another episode of Phone It In right here on the Sobros Network. Mine's right, ass is tight as we tackle episode 59 for you today. I am your host for the show, the EIC at SobrosNetwork.com, Big Natural Stoney Keeley. You can follow me on Twitter at Stoney Keeley. Collectively, we are at Sobros Network. Joined as usual by the star of the show herself, the cryptid queen, Rooster. Rooster, how you doing today?
Real shit.
So, we're getting a late start today, but it's because we've spent the last hour just bitching.
How are you, Stoney?
It be like that sometimes. I'm great. I'm wonderful. Not a care in the world today. We're having a good time. Hey, if you are watching live on YouTube, be sure to get in the comments. Let us know what you think about the topic. If you have any questions, any points to make, if you want to try and make us crack as we're trying to go over this topic, that's the spot to do it in. Jump in the comments. Let us know that you're watching along with us. Talking about the Loveland Frogman. I'm assuming it's not really Loveland. It's Loveland, right?
I don't know. I like Loveland.
It's kind of a mouthful to say, but it's in Ohio.
Loveland.
Just a little northeast of Cincinnati. Which I don't know if you Googled Loveland, Ohio, but the photos are beautiful, and they've got a castle up there as well. It looks like a pretty quaint, small town America kind of place.
With a castle.
With a castle, yeah.
Small time America with a castle.
You don't remember the castle from Andy Griffith?
No, I didn't watch it.
What?
Okay. I would fucking believe you because there's a fucking castle in Tennessee on the way to MTSU. I would pass it all the time driving from Franklin to Murfreesboro. So now I just assume that I guess castles are just small time America bullshit.
Small town Americana. We're talking about castles and Andy Griffith. No, but it does look like a nice little downtown area. I wonder what our chances are of actually encountering the Frogman. If we should add it to our Phone It In bucket list, where we just take some flashlights out into the swamp and look for it.
No,
you're not interested?
I don't think we'd find anything.
I think the Frogman's kind of cool, though. The Frogman just kind of seems like it wants to chill by the water, and it's not really bothering anybody. But I do still think that if we encountered the Frogman, I could probably kick its ass if I needed to.
I will say I love little towns that have a cryptid or something and make it their whole thing. I love that. I love that for Point Pleasant, like Mothman Shit Everywhere, a statue, little cafes that sell shirts.
Yeah.
I love that. It's almost like it seems very the little a road trip stop, when you're on a highway forever and then there's come see our mummy and it's fuck yeah. I love that. It's very American. It's very American and one of the few things I'm very proud of that America does because it's so crazy, but it's so fun.
Yeah. And it does look like Loveland, Ohio really plays up the Frogman stuff. Didn't you have a note that it's the mascot of the town?
It's their city mascot, yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is. I love that.
As far as cryptids go, though, I mean, where does the Frogman rank in terms of how cool it is for your city? If you were from Loveland, Ohio, and the Frogman was your cryptid, would you be stoked about that? Oh
no.
See, I think I would be.
I mean, well, I'm of very two minds. So I would love a real fucked up demonic one. Give me one that's give me a hellhound. Even though that's kind of boring, I like the a hellhound. This one though is so charming and so cute. Every time I see somebody draw pictures of him, it's oh fuck yeah, Loveland Frog.
Yeah.
Every drawing has got him caked up.
Yeah.
And he's always got a wand, a little magical wand. So he's very charming.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would personally want that route. I do love it, but I'm more of like a hellhound variety, you know?
See, I don't want anything that might I don't want anything that might legitimately fuck me up.
Hmm.
And that's where like some of the scary stuff, it's kind of cool. I feel like you tend to with stuff like that that is haunting, maybe even violent, maybe
Mhm.
you know, just the spookier stuff. I think you get a more thorough catalog of stories. There's more
Yeah.
things that happen. I think it's a much more visceral experience if you're walking through the woods at night knowing
Yeah.
there's some creature out there. That's what I like to do a lot. I like to just walk through the woods at night where mythical creatures tend to hang out. But also, like I can understand the excitement in that, but also I kind of love the idea that we could get something that may be a little supernatural that maybe we don't quite understand. But he's just
Oh,
looking to
those are
hang out
fun.
on the water. Just looking
Mhm.
to hang out at the water and wave his wand around every once in a while and you know, not really do too much. Just kind of hang out and be dare I say a bit of a fun-loving cryptid.
Well, but not if you saw the movie. I mean, the new movie did not make him out to be that.
Well,
So,
that's the reason that this topic is top of mind right now, no?
yeah. Yeah, the movie.
What did you think of the movie?
So, I love found footage. Um, Big time found footage person. I feel like there's I don't know, people can do really good stuff on YouTube. Like every
Yeah.
Halloween, there's amazing like short YouTube videos. I spend most of my time watching that. I feel like the movie maybe I hate to be that person because I don't like saying, "Oh, this movie would have been better shorter." Um, but I feel like the beginning was quite slow. I didn't really care about any of the characters, so I think that was a big part of me not being crazy about the beginning. Like, you know, you build the character
Sure.
relationships and whatever, and I just didn't care about them. Um, but the ending was crazy. I mean, the ending was crazy, and I liked the Frogman a lot. I
What do you
thought,
mean like the way they made him look
yeah, because I think
or
he used a practical effect from like stuff that I was reading. They
okay.
just had it. I loved it. You know, you have to work around that a little bit, like a lot of camera droppings or glitches or whatever the fuck. But I thought he looked really cool, and it was just the ending was fucking crazy. There's a lot going on. It's like it went from very slow pacing to just absolutely batshit.
Found footage.
Yeah.
That's a decision for a movie like this. So kind of they're really ramping up the intensity in this movie based on the actual folklore or the actual
Yes.
sightings of the
Yes.
Frogman. Yeah.
Yes.
Was it based in Ohio and everything? Like, was it directly based off of
Mhm.
this particular story? Okay.
Yeah, it's like the guy was a you know, he had captured it on film as a kid on a family road trip.
Hmm.
Like, I thought, like, almost the movie would be kind of all of that, like, this family on a road trip, and the kid sees it, and he drops the camera, but then he's older, and people are always making fun of him because he's so adamant about Frogman. And he's like, "No, I'm gonna prove it." So, like, you know, you get the vibe that he's got nothing going on. He doesn't really have a job. He's kind of this washed up little director, and he goes with like his ex-girlfriend, or I don't know. They've got a weird relationship thing going on. She's an actress, and his friend, and like he's really trying to prove something and finding it. So
Gotcha.
it's kind of it's a little frustrating from like watching from his point of view too, because you're like, obviously this thing exists. Like we're all here to watch this, and it's just frustrating to watch him be like, "No, it's here," and you're like, "Fuck, I know it is. Come on!" Like, you know, you're already siding with him,
Yeah.
so it's just I don't know. Eh.
So, did they make Frogman 4 feet tall in this movie?
Yeah, he's short. Yeah,
That's kind of wild.
and he looks like a frog. I mean, it's just a frog. It's just a tall frog.
All right. Well, now that we know why we're here today, why don't we get into the legend itself?
All right. So, in Ohio folklore, the Loveland Frog, also known as the Loveland Frogman or Loveland
Yeah.
Lizard.
Who called it a lizard?
Well, I mean, we'll get there.
Okay.
Is a humanoid frog described as standing roughly 4 feet tall in Loveland, Ohio. So the idea of just a frog standing at 4 feet tall, like just like the bad posture, fucking sloped ass little guy standing there, like the little man standing emoji, but it's just a frog.
Yeah.
It just
Or
cracks me up.
it's like the alien in the hallway that's like,
Yes.
Mom, I just threw up at 3 a.m. or whatever the meme is. That's kind of what I'm picturing here.
It's so goofy.
Yeah.
So in 1972, the Loveland Frog legend gained renewed attention when a Loveland police officer reported to a colleague that he had seen an animal consistent with descriptions of the frogman. So I guess there's like already this rumor idea of a frogman existing before like the actual big sighting.
So I wonder how far this goes back then. Like if
I
this is
know.
one
I
of
couldn't
those
really find anything.
like stories passed down through the generations. Like
Mhm.
I kind of want to know like the origin of Frogman. Like what did he like about Loveland, Ohio, where he's like, this is a nice spot to post up. Because you know,
Mhm.
we talk about like ley lines and stuff like that on this show before, Skinwalker Ranch, like high activity level areas. So like what
Mhm.
was it? Did he come to our planet through Skinwalker Ranch and travel to Ohio? Or are there ley lines and portals in Loveland, Ohio that he just popped through one day and was like, man, this place is kind of dope. They've got a castle here. This
Or
looks like a
oh
good
yeah,
spot
they've
to
got
settle down.
they got a nice river and a castle. Like, oh,
Yeah,
I don't need anything else.
I could hang in this river.
Um, or like a science experiment, science
Oh,
experiment gone
see,
wrong.
that's like gonna be the shittiest season of Stranger Things ever. It's gonna be
Like a
over in
stupid little
one episode.
Spider-Man like character.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
okay, so yeah, I thought this was stupid as fuck, so I put it in here. University of Cincinnati. University of Cincinnati folklore professor, which that's cool. That's a cool job. Good for you, Edgar Slotkin. But this is a dumb thing to say. Compared the Loveland Frog to Paul Bunyan. What?
Why? Why?
What? I guess I'm hoping like is he just comparing a cryptid to a folk legend? Because there is a difference there a little bit.
Is Paul Bunyan a cryptid?
That's I originally put that like is Paul Bunyan a cryptid? Like of all of the things, why Paul Bunyan? And also he
I
goes
don't
on to
know.
say saying that stories about it have been passed down for several decades and that sighting reports seem to come in predictable cycles. Does that happen with Paul Bunyan? Are
I
there
was about to say,
cycles of reportings of Paul Bunyan just wandering the woods with a fucking axe and a giant blue ox?
man, wouldn't that be wild though if you were camping with your buddies and like here comes Paul Bunyan. You're like, holy
Just a
shit, it's
fucking
real.
giant man walking through the woods.
I have to confess, I don't even know who Paul Bunyan is. Like
Oh my god.
I don't know Paul Bunyan's story. I just know he's a giant lumberjack. And they
So I
play
would
for
say
Paul Bunyan's axe in one of the Big Ten football rivalries.
this is very on brand for me. But when I was in elementary school, I won a writing competition for a tall tale
Okay.
with the guy who writes them, Stevenson. I don't know, Stephen Kellogg. I don't know. I don't remember his
Don't
name.
know. Don't know.
And then like the winners, like the 1, 2, 3 winners, had to go and read it at Barnes and Noble, and he was there. And I never even got my fucking short story back. Anyway, I basically wrote a character that was trying to fit in by like trying to live with other tall tale people for a while. So there was like Paul Bunyan, the What's the fucking coyote one? Pecos Bill?
Pecos Bill, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wrote a few of them in there, but very on brand for me, folklore.
That
But
is pretty
yeah.
on brand.
No, Paul
And
Bunyan's just a lumberjack.
you had to. Why is he giant though?
I don't know.
Why aren't we investigating this?
And why does he have a blue ox? I don't know.
Well, that, you could say there's obviously some magic going on with the blue ox.
Hmm.
The blue ox is like a mythical creature. Paul Bunyan's just a fucking
Yeah.
dude.
Babe is the cryptid, and Paul is just a giant.
Oh, this
You
blue
okay?
snot all in my hand. We're just gonna power through it. My
But yeah,
allergies have been bugging me this week, so I'm a little stuffed up.
full-time spring, full swing
Yeah,
spring. I don't know.
yeah, that thing. Predictable cycles, though, that's interesting.
Yeah.
What's
so predictable about it?
Yeah, I mean, does this professor just get like a tingling sense, like, oh, someone's gonna see this thing tonight? And if you could predict it, don't you think you'd be able to find it then?
I mean, I agree that these stories kind of go in cycles a little bit, but the frogmen, there's not that much. And they're like, you don't really have any evidence of where the first sighting really came from. You've got this one from a cop, and then you've got another one that's a little bit more recent, but like there's nothing that would have tipped you off that it was coming back. Like the movie coming around, that would make me think, oh, maybe sightings will pick up. Like that would make sense. Like a big news article comes out about UFOs. Maybe you get more people reporting them. But yeah, if it's predictable, like if it happens every Wednesday, go stand out there on a Wednesday and try and find them then.
I think this is a pretty fun little legend, but this was like the movie coming out and us deciding to talk about this is really the first time I've learned about it. Why do you think it is that? I mean, it just seems like nobody's really talking about this one in the grand pantheon of cryptid lore.
I'm gonna guess because it's Midwestern.
Midwestern, okay. I'm gonna say because he's not like eating people and skinning goats.
I mean, they're like the big ones. Every state has cryptids, though. There's all kinds of weird little cryptids. There's like a Michigan Wolfman, which I'm cool with. Whoa. I don't really know that much about them yet, but I like every state has at least one.
What's the one for Tennessee?
I think Bigfoot's kind of big there.
There have been a few Bigfoot sightings. Yeah, there was actually a reported Bigfoot sighting in a park that I go play Frisbee golf quite a bit. There was a sighting not too far from there that a friend of the brand, Mac, and I were going to go camp and investigate one summer, and we never did it.
Oh, how do you feel about that? You feel
missed opportunity.
Do you feel safe? Well, do you feel safe at the park?
It depends, There have been some times where I've been out there by myself just trying to like get a quick 18 in, get a little exercise. And sometimes the wind blows a certain way and you hear a strange noise and you're like, ooh, it feels like something's watching me, but nothing crazy. It's probably just like people getting fucked up in the bushes.
I mean, maybe it depends on where you are too. Like East Tennessee probably just has more sort of like Scotch Irish kind of passed down Appalachian folklore kind of bullshit, which is awesome. And then Bell Witch is great too. Not technically, not really a cryptid, although I don't know.
We got some people wanting to go there and do that for content, and I'm like, y'all have fun.
I would go. When I've seen reviews of the place though, I've seen that the guy who like runs it is just a fucking asshole.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard too, but I don't want to risk it. Y'all go have fun. I'll just go to the Hermitage and listen to him tell creepy stories, but nothing ever actually happens. It's just nice ambiance. Yeah.
Oh, it's the same at Carton Plantation. Everyone wants to know the ghost story. It's like, yeah.
Well, let's get to the sightings then with Frogman.
So the big one, I don't know, the only real solid one you have, the more recent one is pretty cool too, but this is like the big original one, since there isn't actually a real source for the original legend.
So this is kind of what started the hype, the craze,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on March 3rd, I have no energy today.
On March 3rd.
Yeah, on March 3rd, 1972, at 1 a.m., Loveland police officer Ray Shockey was driving on Riverside Drive near the Toots.
I think it's Totes.
Yeah, I think it's Totes. Totes.
But maybe it's Toots.
But I would love Toots Boot Factory.
Toots Boots.
Yep. The Totes Boot Factory and the Little Miami River. I hate that it's called the Little Miami River. I just want to throw that out there.
Does it flow to where? There's a University of Miami of Ohio.
Oh my God. Is it really? Yeah. I hate that. I hate that.
The Red Hawks, but I don't know if Miami, Ohio is an actual town. No.
It sounds like it might. Oh, it's not?
Oxford, Ohio is the home of Miami University, Ohio.
That's so stupid. Oh.
So, okay. And why is it the Little Miami River?
The Little Miami River, when an unidentified animal scurried across the road in front of his vehicle.
That's it?
Sorry. The animal was fully illuminated in his vehicle's headlights, and he described it as 3 to 4 feet long and about 50 to 75 pounds with leathery skin. He reported spotting the animal crouched like a frog before it momentarily stood erect to climb over the guardrail and back down towards the river. Other stories say it jumped over the guardrail, and I feel like that's an important distinction to make, because I feel like crawling over the side of a guardrail and jumping are quite different actions.
Yeah, sure.
I think I'd be way more scared if I saw something jump. I'd be like, what the fuck is that? But if I see something scurry and crawl, it's kind of like, what is it, a raccoon? I don't know. Well, it could be anything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of guardrail are we talking about? You know, if something like crawls up the side of a 10-foot guardrail or something like that, it might be, you know, it's like the demons crawling on the ceiling kind of vibe. Maybe that would be it. But if it's just like, you know, like the little barrier at the side of the road that's like
that's
3
kind
feet
of tall. That's sort of what I was picturing.
Maybe it was a child. Maybe it was just a child
at 1 a.m.
born in the swamp that had gotten loose.
Yeah. I like that. I
don't know. Did you finish? Jumped over the guardrail. Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Sorry. What did it describe?
Well, it says leathery skin, but how well do you really see that when you're driving? I don't know.
I don't know. And I mean, was it like hunter green? Like what? I mean, how easily do you think it would be to identify? Like, oh, that's a frog scurrying across on 2 feet, bipedal, and just jumps.
He doesn't even say that though, does he?
It crawls.
Yeah, it just scurries across.
It momentarily stood erect.
Yeah. So like it stood up to then just crawl over the barrier.
Yeah. Oh man, that's kind of wild.
That is kind of gross. I don't like picturing that, to think about something scurrying on 4 legs and then standing up and then just like putting 1 foot over a barrier and then the other one. I don't like that.
Because that's the behavior of 2 different creatures. Like you have the scurrying of an animal, but then you have the standing of a human.
That is a demon child. That is something I'm kicking straight into the water.
It's like what we talk about when something appears human that really isn't, or something that like appears like an animal, but you get the feeling it's not.
You get those chills, like it's so unnatural.
Unnatural. Yeah, that's a good. I can see how that would be a little unsettling at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. 2 weeks after the incident, a second Loveland police officer, Mark Matthews, reported seeing an unidentified animal crouched along the road in the same vicinity as Shocky's sighting. Matthews
Hanging out at
shot.
this bridge.
Yeah, Matthews shot the animal, recovered the body, and put it in his trunk to show Officer Shockey. Okay, so I'm saying this right now. This is a very different story than another story. These are two very different stories that we're going to cover in this, of the version of events of whatever happened.
Gotcha.
So in this one, Mark Matthews shoots and kills the animal, puts it in his trunk to show the other guy. So according to Matthews, it was a large iguana about 3 or 3.5 feet long, and he didn't immediately recognize it because it was missing its tail. Matthews speculated the iguana had been someone's pet that either got loose or was released when it grew too large. According to Matthews, Shockey was shown the dead iguana and confirmed it was the animal he had seen 2 weeks previously.
Well, damn.
Yeah.
So much for all the fun we were having.
I know. That's like, shut the book, case closed.
Case closed.
Like you can see it's an iguana.
Yep. Oh, man.
But I don't. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to say March 3rd could be pretty cold. Maybe we're in Ohio. I don't know. Don't iguanas start falling from trees in Florida when it gets to like 50 degrees or something? Like not even that cold.
I don't know shit about the iguanas in Florida.
I'm going to look up.
So you're saying that this iguana just fell out of a tree?
Yeah, so in Florida, in Florida, it's a thing where when temperatures dip into the 40s and 30s, iguanas start falling out of trees.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah. So these cold-blooded reptiles turn into a state of hibernation when it gets really cold. They lose all control of their motor skills. This can cause iguanas to fall out of trees on chilly nights. And while I'm thinking about this, I'm going to see if I can find out what the weather was on March 3rd, 1972 in Loveland, Ohio.
So this poor iguana just got really cold, fell out of a tree, and then the cop shot it.
Well,
am I tracking this?
Yeah, but okay, so March 3rd, though, I wouldn't imagine if it's cold, an iguana could run across the street and climb over.
Well, that's part of it, too.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's probably not going to stand up on its 2 hind legs.
Right. Like it would lose motor function. So depending on the weather, I'm not going to find this. I can't do real-time investigative journalism.
Yeah, we need a producer. We need a producer for us.
So depending on the historical weather on March 3rd, 1972, 1 a.m., it's going to be...
Yeah.
It's going to be pretty cold.
I would say so. Yeah. I mean, even down here in Tennessee, that time of the year, it's going to be pretty cold.
Mm-hmm. Like, so if it's like 30 degrees, I don't think an iguana would be moving around.
No, I don't either.
Okay.
I think we just shot down Officer Matthews' story here.
So March 3rd of this year in Loveland, Ohio, the low was 23 degrees.
The more you know.
So I don't know what 1972 is like. It's not definitive in any way, but Okay. So Matthews recounted the incident to an author of a book about urban legends, but says the author omitted the part that confirmed that the creature was an iguana rather than a frogman. Matthews also went on WCPO TV to talk about his frogman story in 2016 when another event came up that would spur him to do that. So we'll get to that. The book that I have actually says Matthew's original story was that the creature got away. So this is the other story, that the creature got away after it jumped over the guardrail again. So instead of shooting it, he shot at it, but I guess missed, and it jumped over the guardrail again. He allegedly didn't come forward with the truth about killing an iguana until after the 2016 sighting. So that would mean there was no dead iguana to show Shockey.
Yeah. So, but why? I mean, why all the why make the story up?
I know. Well, so it even said something like, "Oh, Shockey was relieved finally after all of this time, thinking he was crazy." You know, and it's like, okay, well, that doesn't sound like a man who was shown a dead iguana 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It almost sounds like, is he fucking lying then? Was there a dead iguana?
This just seems so ridiculous. Like, why?
I know.
I don't know. I want to know the agendas at play here.
I know, because I thought it's like, this is such small time drama between, like, I guess the author of a book and then I don't like, did the author of the book make up this story then? And there was a dead iguana? Like, where's the journalism in 1972?
Yeah, where, like, was he embarrassed because he didn't want everybody to think he was seeing frogmen? And so he's like, oh, yeah, it was just an iguana. And my buddy shot one and showed it to me. And yeah, that's absolutely what it was.
Right. Like, did people start making fun of him too much? And they're like, oh, no, it's just an iguana.
But how does that help?
Because then it's just like, you fucking idiot. You saw an iguana and you thought it was a frog.
I don't know. I don't get this one.
No, it's very weird. But this is such small town bullshit.
Do you think the frogman got to him and hypnotized him with his wand and was like, you are not to speak of my existence. I am an iguana that your friend shot on the road?
Well, see, this is why I think it's kind of interesting bringing up the temperature, because maybe it would have been kind of impossible for an iguana to run across the street and climb a guardrail at 1 a.m. in March, early March.
Right. That particular aspect of this story actually kind of supports the idea that it wasn't just an iguana.
Because if they can't even hang on to a tree branch, they're not moving around like that.
Yeah, and they're not going to stand up and hop over a guardrail.
No.
I don't know if an iguana is going to do that when they're warm either.
They're quite slow.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen an iguana really move that fast.
I mean, I've never seen an iguana in the wild.
I've seen TikToks of people with like pet iguanas, and I do remember like a guy putting like some kind of bug up top, showing the iguana, and then like letting her climb up to sort of, I don't know if they have to do fucking exercise. I don't know the habits of iguana, but like even then, the iguana was not moving fast. I mean, it was probably the fastest I've ever seen an iguana move, and it was not that fast. It was not like run in front of a car fast.
I would think if an iguana did move too quickly, that would creep me out.
That would, if any lizard is moving that quickly.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, like those videos of alligators running.
No, I'm out on that.
Yeah.
All right. So where are we? The original legend?
No. I don't think I even have the original. I don't think I even have the original legend in here. Oh no, I do. I passed it. That's my bad.
Firing on all cylinders today. We are.
Yeah. Okay. According to various legends, so this is very rumor mill bullshit. This is very like, go out to Lover's Lane and the guy with the claw hand will drag it across your car door kind of urban legend stuff.
Yeah. It's like we had Tate's Lane here in Mount Juliet. It was like you didn't drive down Tate's Lane at night because there was some like cult activity out there or something.
Yeah, just something there's
crazy stuff.
Or like Marilyn Manson and removing his rib so it can suck his
that too.
Like, that too. How do people know this? But you hear it from several sources. It's always a little different. So according to various legends, the creature was first sighted by a businessman or a traveling salesman driving along an unnamed road late at night in 1955. With some versions of the story specifying the month of May, whatever. In one story, the driver was heading out of the Branch Hill neighborhood when he spotted 3 figures standing erect on their hind legs along the side of the road, each 3 to 4 feet in height, with leathery skin and frog faces. In other versions of the story, the creatures were spotted under or over a poorly lit bridge, and one held a wand over its head that fired a spray of sparks.
Fuck that. I'm getting the hell out of there. They start shooting sparks at me.
I love that there's like a sparkler wand.
Yeah.
And that instead of thinking these are children, he's like, these are
frogs.
This is a frogman with a wand, not children with a sparkler.
Yeah. That's what I wanted to ask, is it possible that these were just 3 really fugly children?
It sounds like it, especially with the sparkler. Because what cryptid is now like a wizard?
The Frogman, apparently. That's what I'm saying. We need more info on the Frogman's origin, because is he a wizard from another dimension that just happens to look like a frog?
I do love that he is also like now a wizard.
Well, no, like he's originally a wizard.
That's true. In the movie, there's like cult activity. Oh, I guess I shouldn't spoil it. I don't know.
I mean, I don't care. I'm never gonna watch it.
There's multiple, because he like reproduces by fucking women, but also if you touch his slime, I guess you also become a frog. I don't know. It got real wild, but there were like multiple frog men.
Okay.
But still just like one main one.
The king. He's the one that had the wand.
The wizard. The wizard. I do love that. It is a great aspect that's very unique. And it just makes him so much more charming.
It does. Nobody's talking about the eyes in this story or in these stories.
What about the eyes?
I mean, frog eyes are pretty unmistakable, no?
Yeah.
So why are we having such a hard time? I'm trying so hard not to sneeze.
I mean, he does say leathery skin and frog faces. So that's assuming big round heads, stupid eyeballs, just sitting there slowly blinking, maybe separately. Or really ugly children.
Do frogs have a reflecting tapetum?
Excuse me?
Do frogs have a reflecting tapetum? Like the things in a cat's eyes that when you shine a light on a cat in the middle of the night, their eyes glow back at you?
Let's find out.
How
do you spell this?
Do frogs have reflecting tapetums? This is great podcasting.
Yes. Frogs are nocturnal and their eyes contain a layer of tissue called tapetum. I love that the way that I spelled it.
How did you spell it?
Can you guess? Can you
I don't T-O
No. I spelled it T-E-P-I-D-U-M.
I mean, it makes sense.
Oh.
It makes sense. It's way off, but
yeah.
But not by much.
It's not as far off as I expected it to be.
Fair enough. So yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about the eye shine.
Yeah, that's true. They're not. If a frog were 3 to 4 feet tall, it would have huge eyes.
Yeah.
And if you're driving, I would imagine you get a lot of bounce back in the eyeball. Yeah.
So I think Frogman is probably just a bunch of fugly children
with sparklers. Yeah.
Yeah. We're on to 2016 now.
2016. Oh God, I'm snotting up. I can't breathe.
You having allergy problems too?
I kind of am. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like as I get older, it gets worse.
I'm really struggling today. I don't know if people can see it on the YouTube broadcast, but my eyes are watering. Like I have stuff coming out of them.
For the first time in my life, I've been taking like Claritin, like the all day shit, which is basically meth, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, it does work great though.
Well, I need to try it.
I love, uppers are fun. Help me clean the house,
It's what you tune in to Phone It In for, random medical advice and cryptid talk.
Okay, 2016, the fabled Loveland Frogman was allegedly spotted most recently in 2016. Sam Jacobs said he was playing Pokemon Go in mid-August.
Hell yeah.
Jacobs said he had crossed train tracks to the banks of Lake Isabella when he spotted something strange. Quote, "We saw a huge frog near the water, not in the game. This was an actual giant frog." Not a Pokemon, he is specifying.
Good distinction there. We needed that.
Then the thing stood up and walked on its hind legs. I realize this sounds crazy, but I swear on my grandmother's grave, this is the truth. So Jacobs claimed the frog stood around 4 feet tall. Oh, and he sent photos, which I love it. I love the picture.
I don't know if I've seen it.
No, you did. You posted it.
Is it the one that I shared?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's the one. Know. Yeah, I posted it like a week ago, and then you shared it today. But that's the one.
Okay. I didn't know for sure.
And its eyes are glowing.
Yeah, there's definitely some eye shine in that one.
There's some tapetum.
There is some reflecting tapetum.
Jacobs said he doesn't know what to think of his sighting. Not sure if it was a frogman or just a giant frog. He said, either way, I've never seen anything like it.
I mean, that picture, it is too big to just be a big frog.
Yes, it absolutely is. And it does look like it's standing, like it's got its little arm, like it has like humanoid arms and it's kind of standing in the water.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull it up now and see if I can share it with the people that are watching on YouTube. If I can, I don't know. I've never done this before. We've never.
Oh, great time to try something new.
Yeah, share screen. All right, we are just gonna share. I think it's this one. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see it, but that does
like
not,
his arms, like this, back up.
It almost looks.
Okay, guys.
Yeah, it kind of looks like. It almost looks like the thing from Space Ghost, Coast to Ghost. What was Coast to Ghost? Coast to Ghost. What was his name? Zorak?
Yeah, Zorak.
Something like that.
Which has been playing live recently on YouTube.
Well, how about that?
I know. I've been watching it. But yeah, no, it definitely does. Because he's got the big blinky eyes, the little grasshopper guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, what would your response be? We ask this question a lot when we get into the cryptid talk, but what would your response be if you saw something like that out in the water?
If I saw that, I think I would stare at it for a while because I'd be like, is that a dude walking in the water with like weird goggles on his head?
It depends because I don't know if I would want to run from it because then it might think that I'm prey, like a bear, and come after me. But I wouldn't want to stay there. I would feel very uncomfortable encountering something like that in the wild.
I mean, maybe it's just a furry. Maybe it's a furry walking through.
Hey, can you point me to Fucky Cheese?
Yeah. I don't know.
To last episode for those that don't know.
It could just be a guy in a costume. I don't know. Like that looks like a chest. That looks like a pretty human chest.
Yeah, and it kind of looks like I don't know. I mean, the photo's all blurry. It's dark. I mean, it could
Yeah.
easily just be a dude in a suit because you
Or
get
with
like
like some weird hat. I don't know. There we go.
because I mean, you
Enhance.
yeah, that's like CSI, but like that would be pretty easy to do with some basic
Yeah.
track lighting.
Yeah.
But where's the electricity coming from if these
Maybe
are
it's not
actual
even.
lights?
Maybe it's like they've got flash on and it's a reflecting tapetum.
Tapetum. Yeah, they've engineered it's like a flash bulb thing.
Well, no,
What's the
like
thing?
the person taking the picture has a flash
Yeah,
and they're
and the
wearing
guy
like a
has
reflective.
what's the thing that goes around it called? I don't know. I've got them in my box lights.
I don't know.
Yeah, but that part.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Or even just like glasses.
Yeah.
Glasses could
Yeah.
catch light. It's
Yeah.
just a dude walking through the water with glasses.
But it's safe to say that like this is the primary like it feels like there are a million shots of Bigfoot, but like this is the iconic image of the frogman.
Yeah, I know. That's all we have other than like illustrations, which are great.
Just big old thick cheeked up frogs.
With a wand.
Let me see if I could
It's real good.
let me see if I just typed in Forgum frogman images. Yeah, nothing interesting. It looks like it's mostly from the movies. Look at this
There's
guy.
Yeah. Look at that stance.
Look at that belly.
I mean, I would imagine quite a belly. That's what I think the picture lacks. The picture's chest looks too humanoid. Whereas like for a frog, I would expect something more round like this.
Yeah.
All right. You want to hear this Reddit story?
Oh, we've still got the Reddit story. Yes. Yes, we gotta
I've
get through
tried
that.
because I tried looking for other stories. But there's really not a lot.
There's not
So
no,
I don't
I
know
was
what fucking Edgar Slotkin is talking about.
this by the way, good luck reading this
I
story.
know. Oh, I actually even fixed up a couple things because I was like, I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Um,
I was reading it like, huh? What are we doing here?
uh, we just went camping at Lake Isabella last weekend. Got back on Monday. I live in Reading, Ohio. I'm gonna assume it's Reading and not Reading, but I don't know.
I would say so.
Never really heard anything about the frogmen, but Saturday night, going through the woods to the Little Miami River, my son and nephews stopped in our tracks because we, out of the blue, noticed 6 bright, perfect circle lights moving in front of us in the woods. The lights move. I feel like this is really trying to draw an accent from me, and I'm trying to fight it. Um, the lights moved in ways flashlights could not have been it unless they all were double fisted flashlights.
Huh. Double
Um,
fist and flashlights.
the lights just disappeared. We instantly took off that way with our lights shining in that area. It was such an odd feeling. I took out my handgun.
As one does when things get a little weird. When the
Things
vibes
feel
are off.
weird. I'm taking out my handgun.
The vibes are off. I gotta get ready. I don't know what
I
this is.
I think I missed that sentence the first time reading this, so that was fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm 35. It says, I'm 35. The rest of the group with me when seen lights are young teens. When we got to where the lights were shining, I noticed it was impossible for anyone human to have been there and took off before us seeing them or getting there.
What's he trying to say there? Like, okay. So he's basically saying the part of the land was formed where there could not have been anyone. Is he basically saying like there's no tracks? Like the way the land
I
looks?
think he's saying, oh, that's a good question. Like maybe it's too dense and you couldn't even get in there.
Yeah.
Or like I thought maybe like he was talking about like it's just a sudden cliff. Like there's like a wall of earth there that like how could anybody stand there? There's nothing here.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
the part of the land was formed where there could not have been anyone.
It's like I'm thinking like, oh, there's no I don't know. It will have to be a mystery
It
forever.
doesn't no, he doesn't really explain what he means. We all kind of looked at each other for a minute and then took off back to camp. My mind has not stopped wondering what the hell it was. I feel like I need to go back there now tonight. I started YouTubing Little Miami River and whatnot right when I got back to see if anyone else has seen this. All I find is reports of the frogman.
Yep.
The hair on my neck is standing straight up. The pictures I just seen of the frogman and his bright eyes shining has to be the lights. It's is a dead match. One of the stories also mentioned there was 3 frogmen on the road when reported a long time ago. Well, 3 of them would equal 6 bright lights.
Hey, we did it.
Last week, holiday weekend, it rained all day as well. Before we reached the woods, my son looked down and caught a baby frog so easily. He let him go into the water. All of this is freaking me. I honestly cannot think of anything else that could have made they lights or eyes we seen.
It was the frogmen.
He caught a baby frog. I mean,
And let him go into the water.
yep.
It's an omen.
Which in the movie, there's frogs everywhere. Oh God. Like at the end when shit's really popping off, all these frogs.
I would expect that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So not a lot of concrete evidence
No.
of the frogman's existence, to say the least, but this is a pretty fun little urban legend.
Do you believe, Stoney?
I believe in a lot of shit. I don't. It's just not enough for me to really latch on to. I
No.
would say.
Yeah.
I would say like these cops that we talked about at the beginning, they're on something. I don't know what it is, but they're on something. And there's something
I mean,
going
it
on
could
there
be.
where
I am interested in the fact that an iguana wouldn't be moving around if it were cold.
yeah.
So there is that. That's kind of interesting.
I'm more interested in the idea that this is something that has been seen and kind of passed down by word of mouth throughout the generations than the actual stories, the quote unquote evidence that we have for this thing.
I feel like everybody at some point or another will see something kind of weird in the woods. And I
Sure.
think depending on it's kind of like, you know, people who die for a couple of seconds or whatever. I feel like what you see is very determined by the stories you've heard and, you know, whatever. Like, are you seeing heaven? Is it like some reincarnation shit? Like, what are you seeing? And I feel like if you experience something your brain doesn't know how to categorize, you're just thinking like, oh, this must be frogman.
Yeah.
Frogman.
The frogman from Loveland.
So yeah, I think a lot of stuff falls into that.
I think the big takeaway from this show is that you need to go look at pictures of Loveland, Ohio.
I guess so.
Because it looks lovely and they have a castle.
I want to see this castle. I'll do it later. But yeah, I'm going to look it up.
Yeah. So ultimately, what do you think about it as well?
I think it's kind of stupid.
Disappointing.
But I do love how different it is to other cryptids. I do love that he's got a sparkling wand. I just think that's nice. I just think that's nice.
I am practically picturing Frogman as a leprechaun.
Yeah, it kind of has that, like, just what a silly little guy. Look at
What
him.
a silly little guy.
Look at him go. Like, it's not threatening at all.
No.
God, how cool would that be though if there was just like half human, half frog wizard?
It's kind of like, have you ever seen Your Highness, the James Franco, Seth Rogen movie?
No.
Like the little creature in the woods that they have to basically have sex with to get secrets from. It's a stupid movie.
Okay.
Most people don't like it, but I kind of like it because it's so stupid, and it's Danny McBride and James Franco in medieval times. So
that sounds fun.
Yeah. But that's kind of what it sounds like. There's like a creature, a frog creature, humanoid looking wizard that lives in the woods.
I mean, that's a great point. It does feel very medieval. Like a little wizard frog feels kind of medieval.
It does. And maybe it is an ancient creature that has been on this earth for hundreds of years.
And chose Loveland, Ohio.
Well, look at the picture. It looks like a beautiful, lovely town, and they've got a castle. How would you rate?
If it is medieval, you want the castle. So it all makes sense.
Did we just fucking crack the code?
I think we did. It's a medieval creature that's just been around forever.
A medieval wizard.
Yeah. Are we sure that this isn't Merlin? Damn. Like, can't Merlin shapeshift?
Yeah, he can. It could be. What if?
What if it's fucking Merlin?
I don't even want to think about the implications here. We should study this.
Yeah.
We should keep going. We should go to Loveland, Ohio.
Now I want to go.
We have a theory.
We got to approach it completely differently. We got to dress up as medieval people. You got to go and try, like, pull a sword from a stone, maybe.
Should we act like we're medieval people from the past that have traveled to present time to get him? Or would he just turn around and turn us into frogs? I don't know. The way things are going in my life, that sounds kind of cool.
That does sound cool. I want to go look for Merlin, and I want him to turn me into a frog so we can all be frogmen in Loveland, Ohio.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm cool with that. All right, well, we reached the end of our agenda. Do you have any parting shots before we get on out of here?
No.
We're just about right at an hour. So
I know, we did it.
Good timing on our parts. When we started, we got 20 minutes in and it only read the first paragraph. I was like, oh God, we're going to go for 2 hours about this thing.
Why do you think I started Googling shit?
We really reined it in. It in.
You had to expand. There's not a lot here.
Yeah.
It was more like I was trying to fill time. I hope nobody noticed.
I mean, I thought it was the exact opposite. So
great.
Very well. We'll just take the last minute out of this podcast. All right, Rooster, what have you got up on social media these days? Where can the people find you?
Rooster_Chase on everything, everywhere, everything.
We've got to plug your book too. We don't do a good enough job of mentioning that at the end of every episode. Where can people buy your book?
On Amazon. It is Consumed by Roxanne Chase. How
about that? Go buy it. I need to start dropping links in our show and stuff too. But I'm Stoney Keeley. At Stoney Keeley on Twitter, at Sobros Network, everywhere else. All of our work is up at SobrosNetwork.com, merch at SobrosShop.com, premium content via the Sobros Substack at StackingTheInbox.com. That's going to do it. We don't know what we're going to talk about in 2 weeks from today, but we will figure that out, and we will be back for another episode of Phone It In for you. For the Cryptid Queen Rooster, once again, I am Big Natural Stoney Keeley, and until next time, you stay classy, phoners.
Bye.
し